Asowaha na ono akasa ne party a odom CPP party a Kwesi Pratt odom CPP oye old journalist o kan Ghana Central for omo a struggle pa kumepreko na ye na adodanko akufo-ado odi animo no na Kwesi Pratt ka ho bi revolution time omo makuti a soldier ban say yampene ema soldier for entity abrabo e wo Ghana Kwesi Pratt no ka ho na edumre bi no na se akoye nsem bebre ema ye che no tumu odi akote o Ghana politics mu pa ye che no tumu enti ekoye se eyi no na opie ye no why social commentator politics the eba bia ono so ebe kabi eti na nwumre e ba behwe Kwesi Pratt ense bia waka na nsia na afi yahwe said ye walk you good ema o my Ghana anase oye ne honya atwom mi hunu kwan bi so e bia wo utie me so hunu kwan foforo bi so enti na baba betie nsem na okaye no ewia ye di ahwe ne pomasi bre bia ye di asem be kwa kwato enti enne enwumre juma ye bedi no e wo se ye holiday mood mu nanso ye beti kakra ye firi wonya sa ye se eche bebra na ejo wanhwe ya ye ne ko wura ni wi ye ne mu a na asemi na akoye ase foolish case bi no odi asema ko court na akoda ne foolish case empesa Kwesi Pratt sema odi bai papa mu na se ebeboa o my Ghana mu ana se emwa eno enene ye beye asem enti na de ewo abusuafo ye wo YouTube oko Sankofa TV International ubenya eho ene ewo e Facebook no my problem kakra be enti ebehwe na e resolve Facebook no my problem kitwe be ti ebehwe ne resolve esa eho no aba na bohude ekoso kamede meyemu a ka wo hu video na Kwesi Pratt e ba be ka ho asem video bia ho asem okasai pa na me hu ne se ne kasa na oka na o show concern e ma Ghana o bia Ghana wonse Ghana dana kuma so but ne na manyo se no ye no akoye se one way bi no efa amanyo kuo bi eho a onka na ekofa fufuro bi ho dia na oka neno na ye ni se ayi nyacho nti ebehe na ya resolve sa problem no yenkoi ne enkonkoti Kwesi Pratt ne nsemo a oka no ene de enti a yeso ye hu na se akoye nyacho esem yentie ne din Kwesi Pratt.
All of us should be working for de-escalation of political tensions. Because if we do not work for the de-escalation of political tension, this country will be in serious trouble. What happened in other countries leading to war turns into insignificance if you compare that to what is happening in Ghana today. And that is why our political leaders have to be sensible. And that is why our political leaders have to watch their mouth and what they say. Over the last 1 week, I've been thoroughly disgusted by statements attributed to senior political figures in our country. I have sat on television and watched prominent politicians threatening to burn down the house of Mr. Gbevlo Latte, Lieutenant Colonel Gbevlo Latte, former head of national security, and threatening to burn him to ashes, and threatening to burn former President John Dramani Mahama alive. Where in this world would these statements be tolerated except in banana republics? I cannot believe it. That in Ghana today, people can sit on television and claim and proclaim that they will burn a former president alive and that they have surveyed and know where his house is. They can tell the Glorate that we know your house is in East Legon. We know where it is. We'll burn it down and so on. And nothing happens. What kind of country are we building? Is this the kind of country that Kwame Nkrumah fought for? No. And I've heard another leading politician sitting on television and saying that the people of Ashanti should locate the houses of NDC members and get ready to attack them, to kill them. And our security services said they have never heard this. They don't know about it. We are heading towards Armageddon. We are heading towards Armageddon. If our leaders refuse to think, and if our leaders focus all their energies and attention on how to grab power and keep it forever, our leaders must know that nobody has succeeded in seizing the people's power and keeping it forever. It will never happen in Ghana. It has never happened anywhere in the world. It will never happen. It is only daydreamers who think that they can hang on to power forever. It is not possible. And these blatant threats of murder, of acid, and so on will do no good to the MPP, it will do no good to the NDC, and it will do no good to members of other political parties. And all of us have to come together to fight, to struggle, to restore sanity in our country, to build that new country in which mad men and women will not be allowed television space to be threatening to kill and to burn. This country has come to a point where our men and women, our youth and adults, our aged and the young, have to stand up and be counted in the effort to restore sanity to the nation.
Abusiafo Kwesi Pratt na wote nenka no. Na nensem okaye no. Ye ba be tie no baako ne ahwe. We de me boy say tie. Na ye be kom baako na ye ahwe. Fi say de wo kan no. Wo mso akasa de. Nanso so ebin mo pese chere se Kwesi wa kan ye because it me ba se ensem bi koso a o mama ka ho asem ensem bi etimi koso o Ghana a o meka ho asem ebi susu badia na wano dem de na oka enti say no yenya oden Kwesi Pratt o peso kire say okwa na onim nyansa se obi ana yenko na me ye fa ne nsem no baako ewia mesan bo audio bi achiro na sa audio no nsem bi koso o Ghana Kwesi Pratt wan ka ho hwe ene me di si wanim se nsem bi koso a wo fa na se enye no normal enti onkasa wo be kakra kakra bi no afiro na obi de ba wakɔhye soja atade Germany for akotade soja atade ene hyew German flag bom edina ese ebo soja ni bia din ebo atade no wo de no menim ma hu ni ye se din bom a but me hu di bia eti hwan atade e na wokofa ya odi ababetina TV so wo kasa wani abre wo ko hontini Amagedon ena eba Ghana na me se ye be fa no nsem no baako na afi ya hwe.
All of us should be working for de-escalation of political tension.
Me pa cho motie o se ye nyina ye nya adwuma se de be ya ebeboa ama political tension twema mentwe aba ya manyo sem no ebeba fom ono okasa no se we de asempa enyina ye nhwe se saade no ebeba fom NDC forces say MPP forces say na akoya atwetan wo kana saade a me ne wo ya adwene ye nto aso e.
Because if we do not work for the de-escalation of political tension, this country will be in serious trouble.
Mo piafo what's saying say yanyere ho ama de-escalation sa political tension atwetan na aba ya manyosem no yanyere ho ama na amafom a emwa oman no wotie o se emwa oman no menkomachi ne tie ne ye emwa oman no tie.
De-escalation of political tension, this country will be in serious trouble.
Se yanye amatwema mentwe atwetan no aba NDC ne MPP for ntem na amafom a sa oman a ye frɛ no se Ghana no obekɔ amani hunu kɛseɛ pa emu eya asempa ye bo abaso me bo mabaso ma wa ya de mo na susufo ne hweme na atade no unya no he soja atade German for na omo flag bom no on sa left and right soja atade soja ni be na pewase mo oro na atade ade ama ho ekire no mehu a personally a mebisa no akire me ya ukoye nim ne ntie Kwesi Pratt.
What happened in other countries leading to war turns into insignificance if you compare that to what is happening in Ghana today.
Die esi obi man so ema omo kokon wohwe Cote d'Ivoire ebisi ho wohwe Sierra Leone ebisi ho wohwe Liberia ebisi ho na omo ekon kase mu no ode ye de no etoto ho a na kire so omo kra de no de enheda enye serious bia na Kwesi Pratt person kire se ye de no ehu kaka motobi ena ebe hunahuna ye ena yete ho no na asem a wo ka no me na ya adwen ya asempa me na wo ya adwen pa na mom ye nko yanim.
And that is why our political leaders have to be sensible.
Hey, anu ohye enu nti ena omo edi oman nanim no political leaders na chese hwan na ye political leader omampanyi Akufo-Addo ene na ban eso omo ye sensible na chese omo emfa adwene no nya adwuma omo adwene no omo fa nya adwuma o se sensible na amanfo fro uncle Kwesi Pratt me the men fro uncle because me no be boti pen onya me uncle omo nya sensible na chese omo ye senseless ana omo adwene na nya adwuma kekabo ana sa na opese o kire minimum ye ntoa so bia akire no obekire mu ya me ate ye nko yanim they have to be sensible tie
And that is why our political leaders have to be sensible. Sensible. And that is why our political leaders have to watch their mouth and what they say.
Enti, ene ya manyofo no. Eso omo hwe omo no yie. Ene de omo kan omo ebepie firi omo anum no. Omo nhwe ne yie pa. Ene de me no ye adwene. De omo ebepie firi omo anum no. Eso omo hwe ne yie. Me no ye adwene. Ene ye pese hu se wo ye nya atwom ana onye nya atwom. Eno nti ne ye yes our program yi.
Over the last 1 week, I've been thoroughly disgusted by statements attributed to senior political figures in our country.
Na watchi ya abetwam yi ne ra ho ewo nsem bi a amanyofo mpanyimfo bi akeka afiri o manum epie ewo yeman mu. Eno so me ne o ya adwene. Usi nsem obepie afiri o manum no yehwe ne yie. Enti sensam na eba na nya yenkotie de na omoka ya enye yenkotie Kwesi yentie o.
I have sat on television and watched prominent politicians.
Otena he television so na ohwe amanyofo akese bi de na omoye de na omoka
threatening to burn down the house of Mr. Gbevlo-Latte, Lieutenant Colonel Gbevlo-Latte.
Omo threaten see a beshi Lieutenant Colonel Gbevlo-Latte ni fie oye den ene e beshi ni fie.
Former head of national security.
Gbevlo-Latte onye ni paketu o. Mahama Breso no ye head of national security. Bible for no adwuma nyina ono na ehye nase e o Ghana. Ena amanyoni bi kese bi osi obehye Gbevlo-Latte fie. Na die enti ena o kan se obehye Gbevlo-Latte fie. Eno de wo kirikiri mu. Yenti e bia wo be ka ho asem. Wo kire mu a ke be yede ke ne beje pa. Kwesi jujum.
I'm threatening to burn him to ashes.
Oi, ene na yehu osi osan threaten se obesan hye man na ye nsono. Ene na yehu pa serious amachi dede na ye okanasem obonwom na ewurawura na no atiem serious. Amachi dede abrantie na nsem bi na okan.
I'm threatening to burn former President John Dramani Mahama alive.
Hey, nipa no sa threaten se obehye mampanyi dada Mahama animu no so obehye na animu no so sa.
Where in this world would these statements be tolerated except in banana republics?
Ewo wiase mu a ewiase mu ha fa ene sansem we pie firi obi ano a ye beji atum saa jise baby a banana republic onim banana republic na kire se wuram bi pa kwadu ne eduadua ho eho na sansem obi be ka afa ne ho adie de wasia ye nanim no a odeti ho hweme oka banana republic o fe ne se kakra hwe ne hwemanim susu hwemanim na me misuro ahwa na dwom de be kodayem.
I cannot believe it.
Osi won't me believe onye ni Kwesi
that in Ghana today
say ene Ghana pa away
people can sit on television
ebi betimi atena television so there no mo ye
and claim
no claim said there
and proclaim that they will burn a former president alive.
Say omo behye omampanyi dada bi animu no so na asem we wonti bi o Ghana da ye ba ho
and then they have surveyed and know where his house is.
Omo ahwehwe hu ba bi ani fie wo.
They can tell the Gbevlo-Latte that we know your house is in East Legon. We know.
Omo hu se Bevolati ufio East Lagos.
Know where it is, we burn it down. So and
Yenim baby ufio yebeshino.
nothing happens. What kind of country are we building?
Oh my ben ye chichiri.
Is this the kind of country that Kwame Nkrumah fought for? No.
No, any Omaya Ghana, any Omaya Kwame Nkrumah ekujisi hono. There be that. Sa no okon. Hey.
And I've heard another leading politician sitting on television.
Another leading politician baako ono so te national television so ono so dey na okai. Hey.
And saying that the people of Ashanti should locate the houses of NDC members.
Say omo Asante mamu omo so hwehwe baby a NDC for tie. Na omo nya omo den.
And get ready to attack them, to kill them.
No one yet ready, so Mbeko attack you or Makukum. No, didn't suffer.
And our security services said they have never heard this.
Na, sir, Nipa can't we. Bambo for no months, Sasamia, Nipano Kayano. Obisa, said Bambo for no. And some year Nipa can. Monte Anna Mati. Oh, Area Seno. Sanity, young queen, uncle.
They don't know about it. We are heading towards Armageddon.
Hey, or say, call Armageddon. Now, Armageddon, no, I to say, baby, or how would just shit in a month for money. I asked about some Germano. Armageddon, Bibia Pansam, a Pasca.
We are heading towards Armageddon.
Say the socialists for page, Casano, no, ye coca crack Armageddon, or how any gem.
If our leaders refuse to take,
say, your mamma, your penny for no mubu or minor. So omo ayo madwen say omo nwene a hey ano ohio.
And if our leaders focus all their energies and attention on how to grab power and keep it forever.
Na ye leaders no so omo adwen nyina ne say power to me and omo pe na omo age atena so forever dear ben biem.
Our leaders must know
Your mom penny for no omo hun say you said
that nobody has succeeded in seizing the people's power and keeping it forever.
Say obia ni ho a watimi seize o man no to me ahye ne nsam watena so saa febo.
It will never happen in Ghana. It has never happened anywhere in the world.
Ensi wo wiase be biada. Ensi wo Ghana so da.
It will never happen. It is only daydreamers.
Omo enam maria na yeso da ye no. Omo kwa na omo dwen say saa de no be betimi asi Ghana.
Who think that they can hang on to power forever? It is not.
Omo na omo dwen say mo na mo soso da ye say mo betimi ekuta tumi no akosi awie ye.
Possible.
Enye yie.
And these blatant threats
Na saa huna yi
of murder, of acid, and so on.
Se mo be kum, mo be hye, ene de keka ho no.
Will do no good to the MPP. It will do no good to the NDC.
Enye MPP, NC MPP ye, ena NC NDC so ye.
And it will do no good to members of other political parties.
Ena party ahodo na aka no so NC ye emamo.
And all of us have to come together to fight, to struggle, to
Enti sese no eduro ne bere so ose nyina yen sore ne yenko ne enya dan yenko
restore sanity in our country.
Na yemfa pepeye emra yemanum.
To build that new country in which mad men and women
ne yɛnkyekyere ɔman foforɔ a abɔdamfoɔ mmarima ne mmaa
will not be allowed television space.
yɛmma wɔn nkɔtenatena television so kyerɛ sɛ wɔn nkɔtena ɔkeka saa asɛm na wɔn yɛ abɔdamfoɔ.
To be threatening to kill and to burn.
Na wɔn ehunahuna sɛ yɛbɛkum ne ahye.
This country has come to a point where our men and women
ɔman aduru mpɛmpɛnso bi a mmaa ne mmarima ɛwɔ mu no.
Our youth and adults.
Mmabunu ne mpanyinfoɔ.
Our aged and the young have to stand up and be counted in the effort to restore sanity.
So wɔn sɔre ne yɛn nyinaa yɛhwɛ sɛ saa nsɛmhunu no ebi nsi ɔman mu.
To the nation.
Wɔwie. Mesamre na yɛnhwɛ Kwesi Pratt ɛna ɔte ne nka no. Kwesi. Megidi sɛ wakasa. Na mmom ɛnkyɛ bia o. Ɛna NDC ɔmo national chairman efrɛ no Elder Ofusuampofo. Ɔno deɛ ɔkɔhyɛ kukua mu osi wɔ obi te national television so ɛna ɔkasa asɛm no. Obi te national television so na ɔkasa asɛm no. But NDC chairman Ofusuampofo ɔkɔhyɛ kukua mu tokurom ɛna ɔne nkrɔfoɔ kakra bi kɔhyia na yɛtie nsɛm a Ofusuampofo ɛkɔkeka ɛwɔ hɔ. Yɛtie.
Folks, see, I was in Nigeria as an ECOWAS observer. All Buhari did was to suppress votes in the strongholds of his.
Unim, sa Elder Ofusuampofo yi, ono so eye bibisa okoye tape bi wɔ kokoam na tape no kokoam na epie no ema amanfoɔ ɛka sɛ
folks, see, I was in
Nigeria. So Pentecost elder. Pentecost nso yɛka sɛ ɔyɛ elder. Ɛnya asam ketewa o. Woyɛ Pentecost elder. Jai. Woyɛ obi a udi mu paa. Udi mu. Kyerɛ sɛ yɛntoto fam koraa. Ofusuampofo ɛyɛ Pentecost Church of Pentecost elder. Ti ɔno deɛ ni enim sɛ Ofusuampofo deɛ anye ye bia no nyame asɛm tinimu nyame honhom tinimu before a Pentecost yɛbɛma so akɔyɛ elder no ne yɛn ho sɛ ohu twɛ clean ewom deɛ sɛ ewia sɛ ewe obia anye perfect yɛn nyinaa yɛnyɛ perfect nanso so Pentecost ansana yɛbɛma so aka sɛ oyɛ elder ufiri osha na oko deacon ana deaconess ne ama so a ne akoye elder elder de sofo ni ho kra utimi preachi toto asore no manyina na asem bia elder Ofusuampofo a oye national chairman ema NDC ono so ekwohye kokoam we de Kwesi Pratt o mo betena TV so national TV ena o mo keka sa asem no Elder Ofusuampofo so de wa kwahye national TV so kokoam kyerese obopo epo no se ye papa o se nye papa o ye ba betie Elder Ofusuampofo etiefo munyi mo ene na mo hwe.
Folks, see, I was in Nigeria as an ECOWAS observer. All Buhari did was to suppress votes in the strongholds of his opponents and then allow free flow in his strongholds. And they won, in spite of the fact that he was so unpopular. We shouldn't joke with this thing. And if we do the analysis properly, we're going to spend hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis or tens of millions of Ghana cedis to do the campaign. If we lose, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid the election, all that money would have been gone, would have gone to waste. If we invest 200,000, 500,000, 1 million Ghana cedis, and fight this register, bring Accra to a standstill for once, occupy the EC head office, and we can do it. We have done it before. These are things we've been doing. Even as ordinary students, we brought Ministry of Finance to a standstill. We brought Ministry of Education to a standstill. We can do it. It is possible. Let's have confidence in ourselves. Please, let's stop the defeatist attitude. We can do it. We can move people and bring this country to a standstill just one day, and they will withdraw. They have withdrawn many other bills. People, we can give examples. So it's not impossible whether they pass it in parliament or.
Abusiafo monfa chame we enye ofuso ampofo we ye afriye ankra no ono na ye campaign manager ema mampanyi dada John Dramani Mahama ani NDC amanyoku no ono na ye campaign manager no ono so ekwohye tokromu kokoamu ne po a oboye no epo a wabo no se abato na yebetro ne registration a yebeye no ense so omo ma no baso se omo pesika bi ne ye de stop ema registration no ema so ene ekwan bi omo be fa so a Accra ebeba standstill na kire se ka ma nipa ma na omo a block bibia standstill na kire se baby ojina no jina wa curfew achew na ojina ho sana o plan ye na yetie we a na ye bisa Kwesi Pratt se samre na obi a oye campaign manager ema mampanyin dada Mahama ene ne party National Democratic Congress NDC samre no omo okeka sansam no Kwesi Pratt oso begina ho eka se Armageddon ebesi Ghana na asembisa wo Kwesi Pratt samre no oso gina ho ebeka se Armageddon ebeba Ghana na anase no de o kan kakra bi na ojaye obi na kan asem o se all die be die ebia esu bia yesu se mesu buebue o ana se mechichi manisu kakra mi onti se me bie ma no ni nyina yesu enti de obi ya na nra enye no na so obi ya enye de obi ya na enye no de da no oyonku bi so ye no eno so nye ti yentie owura ya frano afriye ankra yentie afriye ankra ofuso mpofo de beba we eye afriye ankra muntie ne nsema o kan ne ye.
We must resist this thing. We can't do it.
Yes, Auntie Bium. Or say, you bet me I resist it. You bet me I resist it. You bet me I ye bida. A free ankra. Young quiet, neon conqueti. Dear amamani abra meka se nyina ne se bone de bone na nya atwom de enye good se obi tena wiase na o se oye nya atwom a enye ebo man pa nya atwom etimi bo man enti se da no obi kan bibi na enye na wo ankasa wo kan kra wa muani amre ankɔhye soja atade enye Ghana soja atade o Jema soja atade na hye Kwesi Pratt so nyane hio ena wakɔ boa nkrofo kakra bi ano ena wo kasa na nimu hanchu ne ko huntin asɔre na ni abrepa o kasa se ye ntena ho emma Armageddon emma Ghana no kre we good de o kan no mabom nsem amam na mom aden na no obi so ka bi a wan kotena baabi an hye soja tade na wan kasa ma ukọ ho ntini ansore na de wutimi sore ekoka obi de.
Folks, see, I was in Nigeria as an ECOWAS observer. All Buhari did was to suppress votes in the strongholds of his opponents and then allow free flow in his strongholds. And they won, in spite of the fact that he was so unpopular. We shouldn't joke with this thing. And if we do the analysis properly, we're going to spend hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis or tens of millions of Ghana cedis to do the campaign. If we lose, God forbid, the election, all that money would have been gone, would have gone to waste. If we invest 200,000, 500,000, 1 million Ghana cedis and fight this register, bring Accra to a standstill for once, occupy the EC head office, and we can do it. We have done it before. These are things we've been doing.
What's it? Normal beer, yetimi ye yebetimi akọ EC Electoral Commission office, ne akọ block ho, ne akọ block ho, yebetimi a block the whole of Accra. Adia ye nimuye ye taye bi. Enti instance say sika akọ ye abatoi na ye lose election no. Momme yan spend sika na yan fam block registration exercise no. Na eba na sa na registration na amaswa na afi de eno no ye be spend sika kakra bi be 2 million bi na ye de ya na afi ye sika no mfaso abaso ye ko block the whole of Accra near block Electoral Commission office Kwesi Pratt warranty.
What he did was to suppress votes in the strongholds of his opponents and then allow free flow in his strongholds, and they won, in spite of the fact that he was so unpopular. We shouldn't joke with this thing. And if we do the analysis properly, we're going to spend hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis or tens of millions of Ghana cedis to do the campaign. If we lose, God forbid, the election, all that money would have been gone, would have gone to waste. If we invest 200,000, 500,000, 1 million Ghana cedis and fight this register, bring Accra to a standstill for once, occupy the EC head office, and we can do it. We have done it before. These are things we've been doing. Even as ordinary students, we brought Ministry of Finance to a standstill. We brought Ministry of Education to a standstill. We can do it. It is possible. Let's have confidence in ourselves. Please, let's stop the defeatist attitude. We can do it. We can move people and bring this country to a standstill just one day, and they will withdraw. They have withdrawn many other bills. People, we can give examples. So it's not impossible. Whether they pass it in Parliament or not, we must resist this thing. We can't do it.
We must resist the thing. We can do it. And that's more all canon. You bet me I resist it. You bet me I hear. What here? A campaign manager, Emma, NDC, and Omo flag bearer, Mampenyida da John Dramani Mahama. Ure o Kasai. Your friend no a free anchor or no and I want some doors. Okay, I say oko Brazil blaster kobo wake up or Brazil akwe yasisi kebi amfeye ema yadenoko trial yehwehwe na se mu a afi wote ona osu etime kire se edwomnie ne ya charge obi a ska boom nipa o chere no ska be at $20,000 $100,000 yesi yede ma obi ma ne chere se market we he enseme piepie afa de akoi ne ho a chere no ye ma ne so free no ye sports minister ye ma ne so a na yede ne ko share Flagstaff House Didn't quite share my panya sway. And ne, ono ne NDC, ono ne campaign manager. Sa abatu ya, akwe ya, went to me, amfa koto anya kwaya, o medi nchono. Na, eno ne chino, nipa baako bi so ekwaye secret tape, nsem okeka o mu no, eno so ye man boyesem. Oh, akwe de o kan is say free ankra. Or say yema Accra standing still. Yem konko occupy EC office. Say a man bonnet SM. Or bomb mine. Nipo bomb mine. Or man a juman koso. Ena ye jana sa waka. We a funny wedi. Ubi ankasa o. Kwesi Pratt. Wa ankasa. Na we swear.
Yeah, first of all, let me say good evening to all of you. Thank you for
Abusiafo Sate ya meboy eye Ufuswampofo elder Pentecost elder onone NDC national chairman na voice no ewo form kakra te wasudi netie te ono so ne de o kaaye no e good anase enye good na mambosam eno kaaye anase we de pempna na just chicken feed ti okae no wafa ne ho adi obia anya no hwe na okawie no na national security wo he wo mse de asam no court ye bisa na o se enya ne no ya korhwe mu afa de ese ne no abafo suro se ebeka ese asam no court enya sankofa TV aha What's
Yeah, first of all, let me say good evening to all of you. Thank you for the kind of work you are doing and the challenges that we have had to go through the past few days. I myself, I call it a baptismal of fire. Because if we're in my shoes, you really appreciate what we're going through. You see? First of all, let me admit that even though the party was aware that MPP will always resort to violence when we go to by-election, the scale and the combination of state security forces against a party has never happened in the history of Ghana. I have gone to by-elections. You know, most of you. It is always either MPP group against NDC group slugging it out, and then the police showing a little bias here and there. But for you to see the level of deployment, the sheer numbers, the firepower, and of course the fact that these were not trained security personnel. We picked intelligence very late the previous night when they went and recruited people from the organizer even came, rushed to Sanko where we were training our people to come and tell us, me and Jay Blanson and others, the kind of weapon that we distributed, what happened in Agogoji, the people they picked them there. So we pick all these things. And we have some of our colleagues and people there. And the plan they were hatching, and the extent to which we wanted to go. If you have all this information, we thought that if they would be unleashed violence, it would be late in the evening when they realize they are not winning and they want to use. In fact, they did everything, including printed ballot boxes, which were going to be put in military peace corps and others in the heat of the day. When they come and they want to, as if they want to restore violence, they take it and then we had all those information. So we thought that look, this thing will go late. So let's watch how it begins. Some of our security guys, I don't want to mention them, I mean, they tried to put some things together. But when the thing started, the rate at which it came. In fact, if you were with me, when I went to the Lagos hospital and saw the blood flow and the life-threatening injuries, and I was getting call from Bawaleshi, from
Abele from East Legon, it's like coordinated. So when I saw this thing and the calls were coming, I thought that look, this thing was coordinated, and if we are not careful, the level of casualties we cannot have them. So I spoke with one or two of our intelligence couples, and they said, "Oh, let's wait till about 9:30 and see how the situation." When I got to the PC stand, the house was chaotic. The blood flow, the everything. The PC himself, before I could get him, I had to go through the hall, go to another hall, go to the third place. And the whole place was shook. And the cry of our party people was that, look, we can't do this election because we don't want to die. And there was pressure on me. So I called here, and unfortunately, around the same time, Honorable came with me. So we had to do some consultation with the candidates and then weigh the options and see. We were not in the state of preparedness to call for even reinforcement from anywhere, because as Captain Sassi said, how do you call people from their hands to go and face this force? Any intelligent person will say that, let's weigh the option. This is a by-election. When we even win the seat, it doesn't make any. Why should they slaughter people? Because the tendency was that hawks were being unleashed into the constituency. And their determination is to mow them down, as many as possible, to let the hawks and others know that, look, you are nothing. So why can't we prevent that? At the same time, there was mixed communication about the number of deaths. And it was all over the place that already 2 people were dead. And as a party leader, how do I encourage people to go and face this fire and die? So I had no option. That is why I was tactical in saying that we are withdrawing our party leader. Because you see, we are not in charge of the elections. We can't stop the election. People who are leaving their homes to go and vote, I don't have control over them. I can't ask them not to go. But I had control over people that I have deployed as party people. And they were under attack. And so the best I can do is that, and they were in various places, I did not know what was happening to them. And so once I have a fair idea of what was happening, to save them, the best thing is to record them and bring them to a center where we can either brief them and decide whether to go back or not to go back. So, my brothers and sisters, it was a very, very difficult decision. Again, at the same time, we also thought that if we continue this election to the end and we win, the violent aspect will be swept aside. If we also lose, we have gone through the full hog. So the discussion will be normal electoral violence. So tactical withdrawal was to then place the issue in proper context so that every focus will be on what the government will do. And that is what we have largely succeeded in achieving. Because you see, for the first time, UND, they have never waded into this issue. EU delegation had called one of our senior comrades and said that, look, they are going to rethink their funding of the 2020 election. Because EU is a major stakeholder in terms of funding. And my worry a little was the fact that in situations like this, you may disagree with the decision, but you don't have to challenge leadership decisions. And in the middle of this, some people decided we should carry this process. For me, it was the most unfortunate thing that happened. Because when our people are being mowed down and they are being killed, and leadership has given a certain direction, you need to. There was pressure on me from some angles that I should change the process. I said, I will never change the process. I spoke with a lot of people and I said, this is a decision that I believe is in the interest of the party. Vehemently opposed to it, but when who has started reflecting on the whole process, there are people who come here and say, initially we were angry with you. But you have Chief Adosaka in our meeting saying, Chief, thank you. I say, why? He said, if you have not taken this decision, I don't know how my men would have gone back to Tamale. The issue is that they had brought the Kandahar boys. And the Kandahar boys know our boys from Tamale. So it was a targeted, attack. So once they spot you, they invite them, so they would have done it. And then around that time, people were so defenseless, and they have packed themselves in pickups. And so cordon off and harming them was very, very easy. And they had not anticipated all these things coming. So it hasn't been easy. But for me, how we take the battle from here is most critical. It's a question of mind game that we have come to play. I was here because I thought that I should come and lift your spirit up and let you know that it was not a cowardice decision at all. It was a strategic decision which will benefit us once we are focusing our attention on the Akufo-Addo. And in fact, I think that this whole thing, we should not focus too much on the IGP. In fact, a police woman called me and said, as for them, they regard the IGP as a civilian because the man is and retired. and for them, he's a civilian. He's just a caretaker because he has retired. And once you are retired as an IGP, and this came from a policewoman. And so, even though we bashed the IGP, I think that the whole thing was political. So we must situate the communication on the president, who is the commander-in-chief and who controls the security agencies, and how he has shown his true colors as a very violent person, because you trace the antecedent gradually from when he became a flag bearer and what he did to his own chairman and others, and created a culture of silence and beat people up and did all sorts of things and have brought it into governance. And so we need to expose him so that tomorrow, as my brother said, if NDC decides that we are also organizing ourselves, which of course we are going to organize and organize well, then gradually we have shifted the attention onto the people. In fact, when people even hear of violence in by-election, they will be thinking about visible forces and then we quietly, doing our own thing. So this is the briefing that I want to say that it is the party itself is also going to come out of a number of policy initiatives. First, we are going to set up a security and intelligence unit within the party and appoint a national coordinator, regional coordinator, and constituency coordinators. We'll be picking some of our intelligent people, BNN people, national security people, and others, and then so that we can read and plan effectively. Because you see, military people are military people. The appreciation of security issues goes beyond what we can go. See? So when we came and Colonel Sachijima was briefing FEC and was saying that as far as he's concerned, he will never order people without weapons to go and face people for election. He will never. So those of them, these are people who advise us that look, if we decide, our boys came here, they were so angry, they wanted to move into the street. What are you going to do? You are just going to endanger the lives of people. The second thing also is that after this intelligence unit, the ballot bomb protection unit, which we decided to set up, I think that this same committee will help us to see how to, put it up. And again, we are also going to look at how to provide security for our leading members and our leading communicators. That is also going to be looked at very critically. It all requires a lot of resources. And I want to assure you that as long as I remain the leader of the party, my approach to elections and security has completely changed from what happened. Wow. And we need to marshal all the human and material resources to move it. Yesterday I was speaking with him and I said, look, we have to get to a driver, probably one of our retired security people who can still drive and at the same time give you protection. And some covert and overt operations. We'll go after them. But we'll not go after them face to face. We'll have to use tactical approaches to make life very uncomfortable for some of them. We will target some people and we will let the people know that their life is in danger. And But once they know their life is in danger, they themselves be careful. As for that one, I want to assure you that we will go all out to ensure that, after the Sahama said, when it comes to this game, because we are better than them. The security and future survival of our country is at stake. So first of all, our people have identified a number of them. Yes. I don't know whether you have heard, but somebody has told me that one of them is dead in Boko. Yes. Yeah, one of them is dead in Boko today. Whether heart attack or whatever. You see, 3 days ago and yesterday, those who were living in Niba and Motobi, nobody has slept in his house. So you see that now we have a tactical advantage. Nobody has slept in his house. They even went to attack parents. So imams have to come in and plead for their parents, because one of the days, one thing, people also start capturing your mothers and fathers and keeping them hostage until you show yourself now. So we need to go back quickly on the drawing board and strategize. But the communication is very critical. I have had calls from senior police officers who say that, look, we salute you, and that this is the time that we are going to unveil the real faces. The police are not happy. Yes. Because they have been trained. They have a reputation to protect. You are going to bring people on the streets. You put police uniform on them and you are giving the police bad name. So there are several police people who are not happy. And you see, it is also shifting the support of the police back to us. Because you know, in 2016, the police were against us. So that is that. The other aspect is the EC check. You see, we must wage a relentless war on this EC check. I mean, she doesn't want to see my face because when she sees me, but I have told her, look at the statement that she made. When we went to help, you say, oh, this one, it is you, it is NPP, NDC, your usual tax. And then I said, look, madam, do you know what you are talking about? As a commissioner, do you know what you are talking about? So I think we need to take care to the cleaners. Sure. The civil society organization, religious organization. Exactly. Especially the Peace Council chair. Exactly. For the first time, I will endorse insulting. That's right. We have already started.
Abusuafo deɛ mote ne kase yɛfrɛ no Owura Ofosu Ampofo, National Chairman of the National Democratic Congress NDC. Onye nipa ketewa osan eye Church of Pentecost elder na Pentecost asɔre yeso ye elder na oye nipa udi mu pa kyerɛ yɛmfa on eni agro sɔfo ni hɔ a wo hɔ utimi preachi ebo tongues wo worship ti nyamesuro ewo mu pa na enkomo ya sa elder yi oni ediye oye NDC National Chairman oni ediye se omo ekofa soja ni dada o retired soldier na omo na plane na omo selecting nkrofo ni akọ omo so akọ attack omo ewo sumase enye plain fili da bi esumase omo ko attack na mibisa se Kwesi Pratt sa asemi a Ofosu Ampofo kan no wante no oni Ghana ha na Kwesi Pratt wante ana na oni Ghana ana na uko ade Cuba ana uko Palestine se ho na wo de ye ka Ghana asem no na wo keka Palestine asem keka Nicaragua asem Ofosu Ampofo ka asem no na wo Ghana ana se no otu kwan uko abrochire minim se o de abrochire de bon ho pa because o ka say German soldier atade na hyew e kire se wo de abrochire bon ho keke na sa your friend say we were also for nessa national chairman or say elder enya sorry ketua bia say Church of Pentecost also okofa a soldier for na omo abopo na ehunahuna nkrofo yatata omo ewo Ghana ha say na kyerese ne nyina agina ayawa so aba omo kotro ya basabasa bisi ho no o se onte ne ho ase ti wa plan so obeye basabasa wo Ghana ha ama oman no aye basabasa obeye oman bia oye omanpanyin na obusa aman no a enkoyie ma obakokra na anche yehun se electric pole dadie pole na electric ahomaso soso no ye twa ye de acid good dadie no ho atwa ase na ma pole no adane abetofom eno no amanfo bebre light off omo nya kanea eti sobo no ebo a ye de kobo aban otiso mampanyin otiso ye na Akufo-Addo ene ye de koba no na wo obi a nyame ni papa a wo ye elder utimi esoso sa na oma we so o se o ma san target encrophobia ye MPP for a omo be kotata omo Kwesi Pratt wante ye uncle Kwesi me wonya me uncle because bi kura na me nyini che bi so ana me ne oboti pen ti wonya uncle mame wante ebinum se ode oyefunu na ode nam enti sese no se ente saade a ene efri ne sesa osuban enya saa ye no mu bi nsusu ye be target o de obeka bia ye be hwehwem ye be pensem mu oso ye CPP esuso odia CPP party na to baabi abato ekoto ye CPP a repoto wantimi anye campaign ba akokra ma CPP na emom onsem a wokan nyina no ensem a woka ade aboa ye ka asem bi na fa mahama ho na enyepe hey Kwesi Pratt ona oye kasamafo mahama otimi ya ma eto ebi cross e mo ahwe ya mesore free studio no o ya sore akọ na ni abredendende ne ko ho ntini ne timi sore na achia na no hey Kwesi hwene yo mene wo ya adwene se oman no ensese eye no basabasa because man ba ko pe ene e frɛ no Ghana free ho a ebi ni ba bia biom ho a nso ne enchi ho a yeso si echi nye oda and onsa echi be oda nti so onsa yam echi ho no o si echi nye oda nso so ho a na otafre enti yenya wo ya ba Ghana no de ho a na yetie eni ba bia akọ enti se wo ka obi asem a ya kano pepepe eba mahama asem di anu agye aginam eba Akufo-Addo o ka se mre bi Akufo-Addo echia mokoye meet the press mampanyi shi amoa no kasa no o se wo de o ye na tamfo wadane waye tamfo ama no chese di obeye bia nya ofe bebi obeye bia nya ofe mahama na ye ya ka o bono mrane mahama osusu ye semtroni no ko training na ya nche se ko fa baako na eja baako obi ye boni atene no emfa ho se o ye o maame ana o ye o papa na ye onua o ofa se o ye na enye na bese Ghana atene no eno de me na o ye adwene na mbom se benkum ye na o tene no a nifa nso ya ena enya eno so tene no ma enya one way but usuban no ama akoye se wo ye one way ti ne se wo ye nya atwom edin no de wanhwe ya se de si mahama din se o ye incompetent no wanhwe ya Kwesi Pratt oso beji udin nya atwom eno de amanfo de ama odada me na me pese me de be ma but de wo ye ne nyina akere se nya atwom ena wo ye no enti so opese e take you serious di on sebu botable so na amagedon bagana de amanfo mo sore na oye ne nsa ne say socialism for sana etene ne ye say enye koto ontime nya hwe because say once sa online na say obey fair as a journalist obey jire finfin a obey force ama for attage o say we NDC also ye CPP but bebre hu say we NDC eti wo koka MPP asem na ye good cry so jai mahama yonko no ebinim say odi wo ye fun na nam kire omo enei me challenge o say kire omo say nya wo ye fun na odinam na kire omo say wo ye fair ma NDC ye na nya ka MPP ye na nya ka menye wo ho say weenum de eba my soft weenum de eba me de message hwe table so pam eno de wo ye saa ye num bi no ye ntena ho enhwe wo ma won keka saa num esaasam no eno na me gina so de ama mu nyina official po Sankofa television Sankofa FM ni nyina international esoso enwumre bia for fide to a na betie Ghana nsem a eko medamase yenua baako a oba YouTube efro Thomas Kwame Nyamenshira so do afidie oba hwe ne o YouTube oko Sankofa TV International na oko tune in so a Sankofa FM International mia medi dwumai efreme Sankofa enemy medase ema mumo enitie ema mumo ene hwe Nyamenshira mo na onka mo ho na afia ye ba beko akowramu de eba awie Nyame amfa nkwa awie pa na de eba no onfa yenwuram kama 2 days time e di me birthday te me de me holiday mood mu osuso de eba da ban ya ma me ho o holiday na me broadcast wa ha me mo onwom ma wo nti aha enam de ubesie Nyame nka mo ho na omma mo ahoɔden a ɛso ɔma mo da ɛso nyina emra mu na yɛmfa nkowura afe foforo no afe a yɛkɔm no de ɛnyɛ sɛ afe wei a corona ɛbɛyɛ sɛ programs ne nyina no yɛda mo ase ɛma mo mo ne hwɛ ɛma mo mo